Ghost of the Future, Issue 10. Metal Sonic tells Silver that he's here to collect him. Even if he did collect him and bring him to Nicole, the only way that he'd actually work for Nicole is if, like, she put nanites in him that she could then tell him would kill him if he didn't do what she said. But I want to know that that's her plan, because otherwise she'd have no reason to think that he'd work for her, and she'd just be wasting her time, because she'd obviously just use telekinesis to tear her apart, if the writing was good. I mean, you'd think that he'd tear her apart with telekinesis before she'd even get a chance to put nanites in him, but if the writer thought of that, then there would be good writing, so that can't be it. It's not like she has a roboticizer, so that's not the tension. At least he tells him to not resist, instead of wanting him to so he'd get hurt, and hurt him right away. Metal grabs him and Blaze sees it. Metal Sonic realizes she's a threat because of her high cast energy level. What took Silver so long to use telekinesis if his wrist being held did not keep him from using it? Why didn't he tear Metal Sonic apart? Why is Silver using telekinesis to do something other than hold Metal Sonic still? There's no way Metal would have gotten to attack Blaze here. It sucks to see her get hurt, but at least she doesn't completely avoid any bad things happening to her after she treated Silver like garbage and put me through that melodrama. I really hate the red vision of Metal Sonic because there's no way to envision that useless. Blaze sends fire at Metal Sonic, finally, and then her and Metal Sonic get magically frozen by Tikal because she gets all the new abilities. New powers as the plot demands. That's a bad writing trope. So why didn't she do that to Eggman? Why didn't she prevent the events of the comic? She's no better than Aurora and Archie. She actually asked him if he's Silver the Hedgehog. Meanwhile, in issue 1, she already knew that Silver would be the one who would help Sonic get the emerald before he was even born. So is she an omniscient psychic or not? How would she not know he's Silver just by looking at him? How would Sonic not have described what Silver looked like to her a long time ago? How would she not know what he looks like while knowing 200 years in the past that he would be necessary? Silver refuses to help Tikal, saying that Sonic never told him about her. Why didn't he? You'd think that would have been basic conversation when they're getting to know each other. He looks at Blaze and then realizes that he did something wrong by keeping secrets from her, and thankfully admits that he's pathetic. But Tikal says that he's not, as if the writer doesn't agree. Of course she would because she's nice, but he really is pathetic. How pathetic is it that a version of Silver the Hedgehog is refusing the call to be a hero multiple times when you compare him to every other Silver the Hedgehog? Imagine if Silver refused to fight Iblis or save his future. SDC Online didn't have Silver like this, and that was by fans too. Then Tikal screams and asks to cast the spell again, and says that she can't hold people still for long because there's something wrong with Chaos Energy, somehow. She says Sonic is missing. So she knows the future enough that she knew Silver would be born ahead of time, but she somehow doesn't know that Sonic was going to be put in Metal Sonic? She just knew that something was wrong instead. That's stupid! He says his sister's too hurt for him to go with her. Always with the excuses. At least Scourge didn't need any convincing or doing any refusals before he saved that hot dog salesman. Tikal gets some new powers as the plot demands again, because now she says she's able to heal. But as she's trying, she screams, and she lost control of Chaos Energy, because Diabolos Ex Machina. So while Silver's sister is safe and the bleeding stopped, she'll never walk again without more help because of her spine. So why doesn't she just start healing her again? Her time freezing spell was interrupted, and all she had to do was cast it again. So not only is there now no excuse for her not healing her spine, I don't even remember her spine getting hurt. All that happened was that she was cut in one area. But this is Silver's future, and so far, the concept of this being the future and not just a different place is not being taken advantage of at all. It doesn't seem like the future at all. You'd think 200 years ahead in the future, they'd have the technology to let her walk again effortlessly, and to be affordable by now. What about those exoskeleton leg suits? What about cybernetics? Not to mention with all of the characters with inexplicable magical powers in the Sonic universe, that any sane person would assume was because Mobius itself was so magical, that some people just naturally have genes that get enhanced by magic. Surely there'd be more people than just Tikal who have healing magic. You'd think they'd be searched for and employed at hospitals. This is Fort's drama, so I can't take it seriously at all. She tells Silver that she needs another Chaos Emerald, as everything's slipping. Metal Sonic sends Blaze through the window. Logically, she'd get tons of shattered glass in her. Tikal should need to heal her too. She says this is the last one and tells Silver to go. So Silver uses the warp ring that Sonic gave him a long time ago to travel to the next emerald. If it was so easy, again, no excuse for him taking so long. He gets scared at seeing what he thinks is a giant fish that's gonna eat him. Again, Silver's not a wimp. He would have just used telekinesis on it and been fine. Name one time in the entirety of any of the games Silver appeared in that Silver had whippy moments like this. If there's one character you have to get right, it's the protagonist. Also, I can barely even see what's going on this page because of the art. It's just blue and pink. How does Silver think this place is all one big emerald? I'm not seeing anything but space and pink light. He says there's gotta be a nexus where it all comes together. How does he think that? Why is he in a different outfit when Sonic's not able to do that for him this time? He almost falls into lava. This is a guy who can fly. He thinks he can't reach the emerald way out there. Telekinetically pull it towards you, moron. He flies towards it, and then there's a swipe sound effect, and he falls towards the lava and has to save himself and start flying. Why is he such a failure in this comic? He's never been like that, ever. That's never been his character. Sure, he failed to save his future in 06, but only because he was given the wrong information about why it ended up the way it did. Not because it was his fault. Then I'm confused, as instead of Silver simply making himself fly, like he does in 06 perfectly fine, he's being possessed by Sonic, and that's saving him from the lava. Even though Sonic is trapped in Metal Sonic right now. But apparently the writer forgot. Then after some really shitty, cringe-worthy pages, they finally get back to Tikal. That was humiliating to the issue. Read Scourge Eternal Blackout instead. Anyways, Tikal can't stay any longer, for some reason. Even though she should be able to come back right afterwards. Do you see why I'm fed up with this now? Metal Sonic has every reason to think it's impossible that Sonic's here, because he was clearly put in Metal Sonic. All I can gather is that the Sonic with Silver is a copy that was generated when Silver went to the Special Zone. So the real Sonic is in Metal Sonic now, permanently, and that's never going to be addressed. The ghost that's with Silver is always going to be treated like he was always Sonic, and no one's going to notice or care. This writing sucks! Speaking of that, instead of Tikal being written to simply heal Blaze and the other person, like in a kids' series like Sonic, Sonic just leaves and Silver's parents are upset at seeing him. Would this mean that Silver will be blamed for hurting Blaze? And all because Sonic didn't stick around to explain things. I really hate when characters have no communication skills just for the sake of cheap drama. That's the definition of cheap drama. That's like a soap opera, isn't it? This issue is by Evan Stanley. Ugh, it really didn't try to make sense. This issue sucked. So Tikal magically figures out that something's wrong and that Sonic's missing, but doesn't know where he is. Somehow. So she goes to Silver and he refuses to help because he's out of character. And she doesn't easily heal his sister and Blaze, even though she has healing magic to begin with. So they're still hurt by the end. And Silver goes into the Special Zone to get an emerald. Why didn't he get one much earlier? He just went to a magical void place. And then the writer completely embarrassed the comic, and then he went out of it. It's too bad that according to the next issue's cover, instead of never showing that character ever again, the next issue is going to be even more absolute embarrassment and humiliation, pissing me off to no end. And I want to skip a lot of stuff out of sheer disgust and apathy. I don't want to see Scourge like this. Anyone who actually read Archie Sonic all the way would know full well that Scourge wasn't nearly as evil as he could have been, and there were dozens of times that he proved that. He went to Knothole so many different times, and he still didn't destroy it. He didn't even try to destroy it. He was more of a downplayed variety of the evil twin, a tryhard. Why didn't he go to Kintobor's tower with a bomb and effortlessly blow it up if he could just easily get into it from the first issue? It's because he wasn't even trying. It goes without saying that writing him as pure evil completely misinterprets his character. That's what someone would write him as if they had never actually read Archie Sonic, and just knew him as, oh, it's an evil Sonic. You might as well write any other Archie Sonic villain for the role that he's having in this comic, like Sleuth Dog or Drago. How about make a new character, instead of ruining the old ones? I think he was being controlled. Don't care. I remember that from later. I remember he was working for the second Devour. Well, he was still talking like he was just a rival to Sonic and like arrogant, and he still knew his name, so whatever. I still don't want to see him like this. I'm just so sick of Scourge as Sonic's enemy. It's just always the same thing, and he'll never win. It's just boring. Other M was definitely better than this. I don't care about art. I care about the fact that I could actually get through most of the comic without being pissed off at it and wanting to give up most of the time. I never felt total apathy for it. I just kept writing reviews of it all day and got it done. I didn't have to force myself to review at any point. There were barely any issues that I absolutely hated. But this issue really tested my resolve. I think I remember learning that the main reason Evan thought it'd be fine to make Nicole evil was her lack of familiarity with her in her series. So she thought, why not make Nicole evil? So, not even an Archie fan. Why did she use Scourge? When you read a lot further ahead in the comic, it basically has a really disappointing and depressing ending for Archie Sonic's future. Like everybody, including the good main characters, everybody there got turned into a statue. And I thought the end of the Freedom Fighters arc was dark. And this is what Evan Stanley wants to write without restrictions from Sega. Why would she want to write like all the main characters of Archie being turned to stone, including Fiona?